Okay, so let's dive in. You know those moments, those collective moments where it feels like the actual ground beneath your feet just shifts?
Yeah, it's unsettling,
Hmm.
totally disorienting.
Exactly. Unexpected, maybe shocking. And that's really what we're exploring today. One specific instance of that.
That's right. We're looking at well, the raw, immediate reactions, very emotional ones to Donald Trump's presidential election win from all sorts of people, media
And
figures.
the sources we have are, they're pretty powerful, aren't they? Actual audio clips.
Hmm. Unfiltered stuff, real-time reactions as the results are actually coming in.
Yeah.
Quite a window into how people felt right then.
Yeah, pure, unedited human response. So our mission here really is to try and understand that intensity.
Right. The shock, the despair you hear in some voices, and just how people were trying to process something that, for many, seemed completely unthinkable.
You're going to hear people just grappling with it, profound surprise, distress. It really paints a picture.
It does. A collective psyche kind of reeling.
So thinking about that emotional landscape first, I mean, what really hit you, the descriptions are just, wow.
It's the visceral part, isn't it? The physical reactions. Like one source literally describes bursting into tears and screaming F for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
intense.
that wasn't isolated. You hear this idea that America's crying tonight, people saying literally crying.
Everybody is crying and so upset. It's repeated.
Exactly. And it wasn't just sadness, it felt deeper for some, like the end of their world.
That phrase, yeah, what
Yeah.
feels like the end of the world. It really gets at that sort of existential shock, doesn't it?
Totally. It suggests that, deeply held ideas about how things should be or maybe where the country was going just suddenly shattered.
It's more than just political disappointment. It feels like a worldview crisis for some.
Definitely. And the coping.
Yeah,
Well, it varied. You had that deep despair, but then you also had someone just saying kind of flatly they were slowly getting drunk.
right. And that disorientation, like
Yeah.
waking up from a nightmare, only it's real. One source actually says, you're awake, by the way. You're not having a terrible, terrible dream.
Mm-hmm. And then that stark landing. This is your life now. This is our election now. This is us. This is our country.
Hmm.
Just acceptance of a new, shocking reality.
You can almost feel that shift. Someone said, this is a different Earth today than it was 24 hours ago.
It's a different place
Hmm.
because it just is different. That feeling of a clear before and after instant, overwhelming for many.
Okay, so that's the initial wave, just raw emotion. But then, the human mind kicks in. You try to figure it out.
Yeah, the why, the how.
So, what did the sources tell us about that immediate search for explanations? And for some, maybe finding someone or something to blame.
Well, a lot of it centered on just sheer disbelief about the outcome itself,
Hmm.
especially regarding Hillary Clinton.
Right. President Obama had called her the most qualified person ever to run. That phrase was everywhere.
Exactly. And yet, as one source put it, she couldn't break through, which led straight to this question. The question remains who can? If she couldn't, then who?
And some saw it as like an attack on the system itself, the idea that she married everything, the normal way you standardize these things. She did what she's supposed to do to win.
Hmm. Which led to this interpretation, pretty powerful, that it was a shot against meritocracy.
It's fascinating how the narrative shifts, too. All that prior praise, and then suddenly from some corners you hear, actually, she was not a good candidate.
It's a really stark pivot.
Yeah.
And, another major explanation that emerged quite forcefully in some sources was this idea of a white lash.
Can you elaborate on how they describe that?
Yeah, one speaker was very direct. This was a white lash. This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president in part.
And they added, and that's the part where the pain comes.
Right. It was framed by some explicitly as a kind of pushback against the advancement of African Americans, of Hispanics, of women, of Muslim Americans.
And again, we should stress this was one interpretation offered in the sources, but a prominent one.
Definitely. And tied into that, there was this feeling of maybe a loss of values. Someone said, quite painfully, decency lost last night. And that's what's so hurtful about this.
It connects to that feeling of progress being stopped in its tracks. The line, history is put on hold yet again.
Hmm. And that sense of loss, that questioning, it really fueled deep fear about what came next. Real desperation in some voices.
Yeah, the fear is palpable. People saying they felt scared, depressed, despair, desperate. One source even said people were almost clinging to me.
It's very raw, very human. That sense of a threat to their reality.
And the uncertainty. You hear people saying, we're worried, the people are worried. Then that question, okay, he's the president now.
Right, exactly. That "now what" carried a lot of weight, a lot of anxiety about the unknown.
And some of the language used to describe that fear. It got pretty extreme, didn't it? Apocalyptic almost.
Oh, absolutely. Like the quote, "It feels like we're trying to avoid the apocalypse, and half of the country is voting for the asteroid." That's quite an image.
It really is, and it led to these almost existential questions being asked, like, is there a doomsday plan for a time like this?
Am I right to ask about a doomsday plan? Do you see this as a doomsday scenario? It really captures the depth of the crisis some people felt.
And then the direct questions about governing, about leadership. One person just flat out said, I genuinely do not understand how America can be this disorganized or is hateful.
Right. Followed by, how do you govern when your whole campaign was built on the hatred of somebody else? A fundamental question about approach.
And those concerns went right to the top, even questioning trust in the military leadership under the new president.
Yeah, that quote is extraordinary. A Marine's father asked if he'd trust his son's life under the commander-in-chief.
And his answer?
I wouldn't. Plain and simple. That speaks volumes about a perceived breakdown in trust.
Wow. And it wasn't just the executive branch. Fears about checks and balances flared up too.
Definitely. Someone pointed out, plus the Supreme Court, who knows where that's going to go. Leading to this idea that, so the only checks and balances we have are us. Like a call to civic action born out of fear.
And then there were, let's say, less formal critiques of leadership ability.
Yeah. There's that very crude but pointed line.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to be able to handle a country if you can't handle a pea? Referencing, prior campaign controversy.
Right. So amidst all this shock, anger, fear, did anyone try to sort of zoom out, put it in historical context?
Some did, yeah. It feels like maybe a way to cope, to find perspective. You hear comparisons to really major past challenges.
Like what?
Like from slavery to, Nazism, we have faced challenges before to who we are as a people. Kind of, we've survived worse, maybe we can survive this sentiment.
Trying to anchor it somehow,
Yeah.
normalize the shock almost.
Right. And it wasn't just the public processing this. Media figures were clearly struggling live, on air.
Yeah, that was striking. One person just admitted, this is the first time throughout this entire race where I'm officially is my pants.
It breaks that fourth wall, doesn't it? Shows the personal impact, even on journalists. Another said they couldn't put a happy face on that, and that's my job. Just a raw honesty about their own feelings.
And that uncertainty, that sense that no one really knew what was happening, it's perfectly captured by that detail about the show openings, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. The fact they take two different intros. One for if Hillary Clinton won, hoping she's the next president of the United States.
And the other one.
The other for, and these are the words, just in case the unthinkable has happened and Donald Trump is our new president.
The unthinkable. That says it all, really. Shows how deep the disbelief ran, even among professionals whose job it is to anticipate these things.
A really powerful indicator of just how unpredictable and, frankly, shocking that night felt to so many.
So when we step back, what we've really looked at today is this incredible snapshot, right? Collective disbelief, intense emotional upheaval.
Yeah, caught right in that immediate aftermath. It's raw, it's unfiltered, and it shows people grappling with something that just completely defied their expectations, shook their whole sense of reality.
And as you, the listener, think about these reactions, maybe consider what it tells us about, well, the human condition when the unexpected happens.
Especially when the stakes feel so high and beliefs are held so deeply, it really highlights how much political shifts can affect us personally, psychologically.
Yeah, and that struggle, that intense struggle to reconcile this new reality with everything you thought you knew.
It's profound.
So here's something to think about. If, as one source suggested, history is put on hold yet again, what does that actually mean? What happens to our shared story, our collective narrative, when expectations like that are just completely upended?
And how do we as individuals, as a society, navigate that kind of fundamental shift in perception when the ground really does feel like it's moved beneath our feet?